This is from Chapter 10 of All That Lies Within. This is Dara Thomas. I am Carolyn. Dara sat in the dark, fully dressed in Carolyn's guest room. She declined Carolyn's invitation to watch her Letterman appearance. All she could see was Rebecca, and all she could think about was that her jealously guarded privacy was gone. If she was going to be honest, that was the correct order of things. Dara frowned. About the former, she didn't want to care. But in the interest of more candidness, she had to admit that she really did. What did happen? How did that happen? Rebecca was even more attractive in person than her picture on the college website or in the video of her teaching. Her eyes were kind and luminescent.
Luminescent? What is that about?
Dara sighed. Well, it was true. Not only that, but her energy was so open, so honest, so sincere. Carolyn was right. Rebecca didn't say anything overt about Constance. She didn't even mention the author at all. Yes, Dara reminded herself. She hadn't said anything yet. Wasn't it only a matter of time before Rebecca leaked word to the press or sold the story along with copies of their correspondence or... Hey, Carolyn said, peeking her head inside the room. Can I come in? Dara motioned her acquiescence. There was no sense pushing Carolyn away. She'd just keep coming back until Dara agreed to talk about it. Carolyn walked in, turned on the light, and sat on the side of the bed. I recorded the show in case you change your mind about watching it. This chick, Dara Thomas, she wowed Letterman. Had him eating out of the palm of her hand. It was really something to see.
Ha ha.
You really did do a great job. You were engaging, witty, and charming.
Woo, the big three.
Don't poo-poo it, Dara. This was an important moment for you, and you nailed it. Except when Dave started off by mooning over you. I thought you might punch his lights out.
Was it that obvious?
Not to anybody but me, but then I know how you feel about being treated like a piece of chocolate the day after Lent.
You have such a way with a phrase.
Am I right or am I right?
Of course you're right, and you know it.
It's why you were so adamant that Constance not be connected to you. You wanted her to stand on her own merits.
You did not just use the Letterman thing as a bridge into a discussion about Constance, did you?
I did.
Seriously.
Seriously, you created Constance because you wanted a place to be your whole self. You wanted to be the person admired for your intelligence and your depth instead of your cup size.
My cup size is average.
Oh, I'm sorry. I gave you that line for later. Sorry. Okay. Don't equivocate.
Oh, big word.
Did you have trouble understanding me? Would you rather I use a simpler term, need a dictionary? See that look? See? That's what I'm talking about. You bristle when anyone assumes you're just a pretty face.
Of course, it's insulting.
Do you remember what you told me the night Sheila revealed her true colors? Dara wrapped her arms around herself. She didn't want to do this. It was too painful.
I'm sure you'll remind me.
I'm sure I don't have to, but if you want me to be the one to say it, I will. Dara shook her head as a tear leaked out of the corner of her right eye.
I said I could never trust anyone but you again. No one but you ever loved me for who I was. Everyone else saw the shell and never the person inside. I said that I felt so alone, like a blind spot in a lighthouse beacon.
Exactly. Then you cried and sat down and wrote that poem. Do you remember it? Dara nodded. How could she forget? It was written from the depths of her despair.
Knowledge and illusion, I called it.
Dara closed her eyes and began to recite from memory.
Who will know me when I'm old and gray, wizened by age and wiser for the experiences? Who knows me now, with the glare of the spotlight fades, am I simply me? Who understands that I am, at once, so much more and so much less? Who sees me, all of me, not the fragments projected on a screen, or written on a page, or frozen in images that capture glimpses of things real or imagined? Blah, blah, blah.
Dara waved a hand to cover another swell of emotion she didn't want to feel. When she looked up, it was Carolyn who was crying.
What?
That poem was achingly sad and poignant, and all these years later, you're still asking the same question, searching for the same thing.
What's your point?
What if... Carolyn twisted her wedding ring, a sure tip-off that she was nervous about her next words. Dara tensed in anticipation. She wasn't sure she wanted to know where this was going. What if Rebecca is the answer to the question? A rush of heat turned Dara's face beet red. Before you say anything, consider what we know so far. Rebecca had no idea who Constance was and what she looked like when she wrote that first letter. It was obvious that she admired you for your writing. Carolyn held up her fingers and ticked off that one item. 2, Rebecca never once in a half dozen letters asked you anything too personal or out of bounds. She didn't pry, she didn't flirt, she didn't push to meet you. She was at all times respectful and focused on your work. Dara had to admit that everything Carolyn said was true. 3, you enjoyed the conversation. In fact, you enjoyed it so much, you let some of your real personality show through. You showed glimpses of humor. Again, Dara couldn't dispute what Carolyn said. 4, I know you realize this is by far the longest correspondence you've had with any reader. I want you to look me in the eye and tell me that if today had never happened, you wouldn't have continued that correspondence. I want you to sit there with a straight face and say that you were done with the conversation. Dara slumped her shoulders in defeat.
I can't.
So what's changed?
Everything.
How so?
How can you ask me that? You were there. She knows. She said as much. I'm no longer Constance Darrow to her now. I'm Dara Thomas, and she'll never be able to unknow that.
Who says she needs to? Dara rolled her eyes. How could Carolyn be so obtuse?
I do. Look, we know how this scenario goes. Now she treats me differently, and even if she says all the right things, I can't trust that she's not exactly like Sheila and everybody else like her.
Now who's rushing to judgment? You have no idea who Rebecca is or what kind of person she is or what experiences she's had. Dara flashed back to the gentle kindness in Rebecca's open, honest face. She wished she could wipe that from her memory.
At any rate, she'll probably take those letters to the nearest tabloid or entertainment show and sell me out.
That is completely unfair. Again, I'll point out, even though she had the chance, Rebecca didn't out you as Constance. She didn't.
Yes.
What if she never does? What then?
Then she'll be different from all the rest, but I just can't take that chance. I won't risk it.
What you mean to say is, you won't allow yourself to open your heart to the possibilities. Dara stood up and strode to where Carolyn was sitting. She was vibrating with anger, and she couldn't explain why.
Why does my heart have to do anything? She's just a fan who provided me with the momentary entertainment.
Even as she said it, Dara knew it was a lie. Really? Wow, Dara, you're full of shit. I saw the look on your face when I handed you that last letter. You couldn't wait to open it and see what Rebecca had to say. Don't deny it. There's no point. If you want to play it safe and live your lovely, lonely, isolated world for the rest of your life, I can't stop you. Carolyn headed for the door. But for the record, I think Rebecca's just the kind of person you were yearning for in that home. I guess we'll never know now, will we? She slammed the door closed behind her. Thank you.